Okay, tonight you're learning about heat transfer. So this is going to be really important when you design your heat shields for your astronauts so that they don't burn up. You're going to need to know the different ways that heat moves. So there's three different ways. They are conduction, convection, and radiation. We're going to talk about each one of these just a little bit, and you'll realize that you're already familiar with them. So convection is the movement of heat in liquids and gases. So warmer things rise, cooler sinks. A couple examples here. You've got a pot on a stove, and you've got a lava lamp. Whenever that material gets down close to the heating element, either the light bulb here or the stove, it heats that water or liquid that's down there, and then it rises because it becomes less dense. Once it gets up and it cools, it sinks again, and that process just continues. This is the same reason that you always hear that phrase, warm air rises, cool air sinks. So like the return air vents in your house are on the floor, but the air vents for like the heating are up at the top. Air conditioner vents especially, because then that cold air will sink down. Conduction is heat transfer through materials that are touching or really close together. So like an iron or this right here, please pretend that's an arrow, is like a metal spoon inside of something hot. So like if you put a spoon in the, like in a pot that you're cooking on the stove, it'll get hot. That's because of conduction, because it's touching. Again, if they're just really, really close together, sometimes that works too. Radiation, this is that thermal or infrared energy radiation that we were talking about last week. It's the transfer of heat through space in waves. So that's how we get light from the sun, or heat from the sun, sorry. That's how we get heat from a fire if we're sitting next to it. So here's one image of a fire to show you all three can happen at the same time. So here's convection going up. It's those convection currents. The warm air is rising off of that fire. If you're next to the fire and you feel the heat coming out to you, that's radiation. It's traveling through space. And then on this metal poker, the heat is traveling up the metal poker. Heat always moves away from the source of heat. It wants everything to be about the same temperature, and so it's trying to achieve that state called equilibrium. So now here you've got a picture of a guy trying to warm himself up. Focus on him trying to get warm. Next to that fire, you've got the piece of, I'm assuming, metal stuck in that candle. I guess that person's not very smart. Maybe they just are cold. Maybe they want to see what happens. Please don't go sticking metal in fire and tell your parents, oh, but I have to, it's for science. And then you have the cooler water sinking, hot water rising in that pot on the stove. So decide which one you think is an example of conduction, of convection, and of radiation. We will use this information to help design some shields for our astronauts tomorrow.